I'm Sam, and today I'll be showing you around the HGUC MS-09 Dom / MS-09R Rick Dom from 2006. So here's what the kit looks like after it's pan aligned with the standard gray and black Gundam markers. And I've also done some detail painting with these Testors enamel paints. For a kit from 2006, the color accuracy is pretty good on this one. The only stickers you're going to have are the pink sticker for the mono eye and this nice metallic yellow sticker for the scattering beam gun in the chest. Now, if you're going to paint this kit, you should note that that's not actually a separate part, so I'll have to do some masking there. Aside from that, all I've done on this kit is added a bit of detail painting up under the skirt here. You can see the red, and under the feet, you'll see the red in these thrusters back there. So overall, color accuracy is pretty good, especially like the touch of the red up under the shoulders here. It's pretty good detail. They really could have got away with not including, but I'm glad that they did. So let's go ahead and look at the articulation here from the head down. You can get the head all the way up to there, which pretty good for a Dom. Then you can get side to side very slightly. You'll see this little collar piece floats under there and moves along with it. And the down, non-existent being a Dom. One piece of articulation, that's pretty good on this kit. Ooh, you can pop the faceplate off there, and you can get it to look up, down, left and right. You can adjust the mono eye around there. And this will get pretty loose on you if you adjust it a lot. I've had to tighten mine up with some paint before this video, and as you can see, it's quite tight now. The shoulders would go backwards a little bit, forwards quite nicely, and with the arms, you can get them all the way up to there, which is pretty good. You get the usual rotation at the top of the arm. Elbow bend is a disappointing 90 degrees, and the hands are on ball joints, so they'll turn around, wiggle around, and do everything a ball joint does. Your waist here is a little limited, as you expect from a Dom. It's a tiny bit of rotation, a little bit of back, but it exposes the gap, so maybe not the greatest, and essentially no forwards. For these side skirts, these will go up and down very, very slightly. You don't really need too much though. Front skirts are separated and will move out to there, and that will allow the leg to kick that far forward, or if you move the knee armor up to there. Nice bend for the leg. I mean, not too much, but the huge bell bottoms the Dom has, you wouldn't expect too much more for that. And the kick out to the back, pretty good. One of the nicest features of this kit are the feet, which are very articulate, very far forward and backwards, side to side, rotate all around. That lets you get the legs really wide, but still having the kit stand with its feet flat on the ground, something I always like to see. And also the legs here are on ball joints, so you can get a little side to side out of those. So, let's go ahead and look at the accessories the Dom comes with. Of course, you see right here on the back, you got the heat saber with a nice yellow blade, which slides in here, and of course in the poly cap, so you can slide that side to side if you like. One neat little gimmick while we're back here, the thrusters actually move up and down the backpack, and the same thing for the Rick Dom too. Get to that in just a second. For hand options, you have these holding hands that are already on the kit, right trigger finger hand, and a left open hand. That's all you have for hands there. Then for the Dom, you get the giant bazooka. The handle will move forward and back, foregrip moves around, a little bit on the front moves, and also you have a pink sticker for the scope. This actually is a clear piece under here, so if you want to use some clear pink paint, that'd probably look nice, and the scope is fixed in place. Then we also get the beam bazooka to use with the Rick Dom. Handle moves forward and backwards. That's all the movement you got on this. Again, you got the pink sticker for the scope, but on this one there's actually some detail underneath the sticker that's lost, so if you do clear pink on that one, it'll probably look pretty nice. And some really nice detail on this. It could definitely use from some paint on the pipes would probably really make that pop. And of course, we also have the parts to turn this into the Rick Dom. So you get this different back skirt, which we put side by side here. You can see is a little pointier, a little longer there. It has some extra thrusters on it. And you also get this alternate backpack piece, and the thrusters go with it, oops, which I have also painted in red. And then you have different bottoms of the feet. Now you'll notice these are the Dom feet. You can see by the cushion for the hover mode on it. The reason for this, I already had the Rick Dom feet on it, is that this kit really isn't meant to be switched back and forth. Once you get it built, you're going to want to build it the way you want it. Because I couldn't get the feet off for this video to replace the bottoms without nicking them all up, so I just left the Rick Dom feet on it. And the other parts, in order to replace them, you're going to have to trim the pegs down. Otherwise, as soon as you take them off, they're going to snap right off. And the consequence of doing that, this back skirt here is pretty loose and will pop off when you're posing around. The backpack's actually pretty solid though, so that is a plus. So let's go ahead and get that giant bazooka on this kit and see how it looks. Alright, so here we have the Dom with the heat saber and the giant bazooka. Holds in the bazooka pretty well. It's slightly loose side to side, but forward and backward doesn't wiggle very much. That bend in the handle, very useful for getting over the shoulders. You can actually get some pretty nice pose with this, despite the limited arm articulation. And with the heat saber, it holds in the hand very nicely. You have to open the hand and clip the heat saber in, which means that it will not fall out with gravity, so it's in there pretty firmly. You can get some nice pose with that. So these weapons, definitely a plus. And I mean, this giant bazooka looks great with the Dom. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this into the Rick Dom and show you how it looks with the beam bazooka. Alright, and here we have the Rick Dom up on an action base in its iconic pose, flying towards the camera here. Let's take a look at the differences you get from the standard Dom. You get this longer pointed back skirt, and this new backpack with these much bigger thrusters there for space. Let's go ahead and get it off the base here, and take a look at this beam bazooka. Now, first thing you're going to notice about it is when you compare it to the giant bazooka, the giant bazooka doesn't look very giant anymore. This beam bazooka is colossal. And unfortunately, the Rick Dom has a lot of trouble holding it. It'll move all around on you, and it's kind of tricky to get this thing in a decent pose. You got to definitely rest on the shoulder. You might need the other hand to support it or something. But otherwise, you're probably going to have trouble getting this thing to pose with the giant bazooka. Alright, and finally, to give you an idea of the size of this kit, here it is next to a standard 12-ounce soda can and a standard 18-meter tall gym. You'll notice the Rick Dom here is a little bit taller, but obviously it's far bulkier than the gym. Another thing that becomes apparent when you put them side by side is the lack of surface detail on the Rick Dom. And really that's not too troubling to me because there's not a lot of surface detail to be had on this kit. I mean, if you look at the original pictures of it, and just a few little ticks here and there, but it looks good with this paint scheme and everything. It's a very attractive looking kit. Alright, so that's the Dom and the Rick Dom. Overall, I'd say this is a really good kit. Another thing I would mention is that there is some flashing on parts, and this is a new pressing. It's got the blue Bandai logo on the box. And I'll throw some pictures up over here. It's kind of hard to see, but especially on the skirting armor and on the hands, there's a little bit of flashing that I don't see on kits very often. So you might want to keep that in mind. And as for seam lines, this kit's not too bad. You're going to have seam lines on the top of the shoulders, as you probably expect, as well as the top of the chest. And aside from that, really all you got is teeny little ones on the arm there, and ones down the back of the legs. Of course, you could just call those panel lines, honestly. But that's the Dom / Rick Dom. If you're a fan of this mobile suit, I think you'd be a fan of this kit. It's not very much, and it does a good job of representing what the kit looked like in the show. And it'll look nice on your shelf next to your other UC mobile suits. I want to thank you guys for watching my first Gunpla review, hopefully the first of many. I've got plenty of these kits lying around the review. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything that I missed you'd like to see in future videos. Thanks!